Hey everyone, welcome back to the broadcast, episode 15. Thanks for listening. If you just are getting on to listen now, please feel free to like, subscribe, share. It definitely helps out a lot. But let's jump into it. So I haven't uploaded in a few days. Basically just been so busy, busy in a sense of like doing personal things because I've actually been on vacation. I took a nice quick vacation to basically go hiking, camping, and just kind of decompress, right? I think everyone gets to a point where they just need to get away. Otherwise, like their productivity gets so low for what they're doing that it's not worth it, and work should actually shoo you out to like go take a vacation, right? So for me, the way I kind of have started to learn that I actually like doing this, right? It's kind of just get off the grid and get away from the world. And I find that to be very helpful. If you do as well, please let me know. I'd love to hear about your adventures. I think it's really cool to learn how other people decompress in the ways that they find work for them. But for me, I actually decided to go camping. And it was the first time I've actually been camping. I've been hiking before, but I've never actually been camping remotely, if you will, and it was cool. Like, I knew how to pitch a tent. When I was younger, I asked for a tent, probably when I was like 5 or something, and my parents got me one, and I learned, and they're all the same. They all suck. It's kind of a weird way to set it up, but I was able to do it pretty well. That was fun. It was uncomfortable and comfortable at the same time because it's like you're out there alone, and the only thing you have is kind of like what you bring, right? Unless you can like forage for stuff. But it was cool to be able to like set a fire to kind of, warm yourself, if you will. It got hella cold though. The temperature shifts were like from 70 plus in the daytime when I was hiking and in like shorts and a t-shirt to like 40s, like low 40s at night. It was really fucking cold. It might have even dipped to like 38, and I like didn't bring enough winter clothes, I guess, because for whatever reason, I was like, no, it's hot. I'm not going to need them. And I'm a hot sleeper, if you guys didn't know this, by the way. I'm someone who's like 1,000 degrees at night. So for me, like, I love the cold, but even that was a little bit much. And I had to, the first night I got there, but I had like these 2 or 3 hand warmers I'd like put on my chest and my hands just to like not shiver. But after that, I took enough precautions to kind of add a few things to make myself a little bit warmer. But it was pretty fun, in addition to like setting up the tent, you get to like cook out there. You have to like put away your stuff so that the animals don't get it, and you're just like surrounded by nature serenading you. Birds chirping, crickets, frogs, a few animal noises, bushes rustling, fresh air. I love it. It was cool. Highly recommend check it out. I'm definitely going to do it again. I learned a few things. I learned to prepare better. It seems like a recurring theme for me. Something that I need to do. Most of the time I just wing things, and that's generally not a good approach. I don't recommend that to anyone, but it's worked for me in my life for so long that it's hard to break out of that mold. But camping is one of those things you definitely should not wing. I had enough food, but I did not think about what I was going to bring as well as I could have. I could have brought some more stuff for me to cook instead of just like snack stuff. So I think next time I'm going to bring more substantial meals and things like that. So when I was there, right, I guess the main purpose was to kind of go hiking and enjoy the Appalachian Mountains down in Shenandoah National Park. And I did a little bit of hiking. I had, great time. Probably the best place that I hiked was this place called Raven Rocks. Or Raven's Rocks, I'm not sure. There's actually 2 Raven Rocks, right? This is the less popular one, and this is up by a place called, quite interesting, by just driving by, it was like this abandoned military base, and I'm like, that's crazy, what is that? And it was like called Fort Ritchie. Apparently by locals it's called Site R, and it's kind of like a secondary government shelter. If like we had like nuclear war, like we could have all the government go there and keep the chain of command going. And I learned all this by just like reading about it as I was passing it. It was really cool actually to learn about it. But if you guys know anything about NORAD, apparently it's like a mountain bunker, and it's just like sitting like 5 miles from where I was camping. Really cool to see though. But the abandoned military base was kind of eerie, I'll be honest with you. So, and I digress. But anyway, so the best hike was near there, and it was this place called Ravens Rocks, and it was a pretty good hike actually. It had a little bit of an incline in the beginning, and then it was kind of tapered off after that, and it definitely took a lot out of you, especially going up, because it's like, for me, going up the mountain is much easier than coming down, but when you finally get to the top and you continue, you finally crest the mountain, and on the other side it was like freezing. So while it's easier for me to like climb, I was like sweating. By the time I got to the other side, I was absolutely freezing, and it was very unfortunate. Hella cold. Hella cold. But it was cool, going through the woods, going through the wilderness, kind of seeing the trails that the animals make, seeing how the patterns of nature grow. And I guess that's one of the main draws for me when I'm hiking, is really watching nature. And it's cool to see how nature kind of progresses and continues on no matter what. A lot of times you find that nature's going to survive. It's gonna continue on no matter what we do. Like, you can look around your street or whatever, you see grass growing out of the sides of the sidewalk, street corners, and it's like, give it 50, 100 years if we weren't here, and that whole place would be covered probably with like trees and plant life again. And it's cool to see that in the forest, and to see the natural path of the trees, how they grow. It's cool to see two trees sometimes growing together that are like different species, or colliding with each other, and how the trees kind of like avoid them. And there's a lot of symbiosis. There's a lot of ivies and vines and plants that kind of thrive and live on all of them. You see like mushrooms and things like that. It brings you back to your roots. It kind of re-energizes you, and it's like, okay, you've been taken out of the world, so that now we can put you back into it, to kind of, once you get back from this vacation, you can reset and have your whole body kind of like feel fulfilled from what it was missing, probably by having too much human interaction virtually, actually, from all the work we're doing, and also probably by sitting at a computer desk and just being taken away by like pictures, but not actually being in the environment. It's completely different. So highly recommend it. And I'm getting a lot more into hiking, which is really cool. I never did that before, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah, if you guys have any recommended hikes, let me know. I'm potentially interested in traveling the United States now. I did some of the toughest hikes in Virginia. Loved them. A few of them had some mountain climbing. I've never really done mountain climbing before, but I did pretty well on them. I think it takes a certain amount of like upper and lower body strength. I'm blessed to have plenty of that, so that's not a problem. But yeah, I think I might go on some more substantial hikes, maybe some that require you to sleep overnight, maybe bring a pack, and see how I go, with that. What's 24 hours going to hurt, something like that. We'll test the water. So maybe if you guys are listening to this and you're big hikers, tell me, comment, whatever it is, what is the best overnight hike, something that requires you to kind of sleep, but then you can kind of do it within 24 hours, right? So maybe you have to hike like 10, 12 hours, and then hike like 8 more hours or something like that. Whatever it is, you guys figure it out. Let me know. I'm a noob at this, so I'm not really sure what the best hikes are, but enjoying it gratefully. So when I get back, the first thing I notice is that like there's this pile of work, just emails, and it's like, how many of those are really important? And you kind of start to wonder, look, when you were out there, if you can detach, and I was able to definitely detach from work, which I highly recommend, it's like no one's responding to, no one's really, or at least you're not responding back to them. Like no one's out there actually contacting you. It's all one way, and it's like you're not getting back to them. So at the end of the day, does it really matter? All those things that were sent to you, did it need to be answered then if people knew you were on vacation? No, probably not. Probably didn't matter at all. That's what a lot of people don't realize, is like, especially if you're someone who's like super productive and has a very good work ethic, you're always afraid to kind of let go and detach. And that can be so tough and so distracting that it really hinders a lot of people. It used to hinder me quite a bit. And I had to teach myself over the years to kind of learn how to detach and learn how to shut it off. And in my profession, most of everyone has 2 cell phones. I used to have that too. And I got to a point where I was just like, you know what, no, I'm not doing it anymore, because I don't want to be contacted by my work or my colleagues for a work issue. I mean, we can have fun. Colleagues are cool. I hang out with my colleagues all the time. But for a work issue, I don't want to be like contacted and have to think about that when I'm not working. And that's, a lot of people look at that and they're like, whoa, that's maybe not the best perspective. And it's like, actually, no, that is the best perspective. You get paid to do a job. I get it. If you own a company, I've had several myself, it's a full-time job. But if you don't own a company and you're working from someone else, you give them the best hours that you have. Whatever hours they want you to do, maybe you got to work a little bit extra, get the job done. But at the end of the day, they should show you the same respect that you show them in being so focused by, allowing you to decompress. Again, I've talked about this before, so we're not going to get into it. But, if they don't allow you to decompress, if they don't allow you to take those vacations, to be cut off at the end of the day, when your shift's over, to stop blowing up everything, to make it an emergency when it's not, then they're not respecting you. They're essentially slapping you in your face, and that's not good. Respect is a two-way street. I'm someone who always gives it first, and if someone disrespects me, I don't get mad at them, but I don't let them disrespect me again. And that's how I've kind of lived my life. So when it comes to like workplace engagements and things like that, I will answer the phone if someone calls me, and it better be an emergency if I'm not on the clock. And I don't get paid hourly. I'm, salaried. But what I mean is, like, if I get a call and it's not during my working hours, it better be an emergency. Or the next time I get a call, maybe I won't answer. And it's not anything against the company. They treat me amazing. I love my job, love my company. But, and I'm speaking in general terms now, it's like, you got to take care of you, because at the end of the day, the company's taking care of themselves. They have a problem, they need it done, they're going directly to you. Well, maybe you got some shit to do that the company doesn't know about that's a problem as well. It's not like you're calling them to tell them to get something done. No, they're paying you to get a job done. And whenever your work hours are over, you have to learn how to separate and cut off. And it's so tough. It's really tough. For those of you that have it easy and can do that, teach us how to do that. All of us, we need to learn those lessons. Like I said, it's something I still struggle with today, but it's something I've learned how to do more and more over the years, and I'm growing better at it. And it's cool to see my whole level of stress go down over time. It's cool to see how my interactions with people go. And the craziest thing of all is, you think that you're missing something. You think that putting in those extra hours, doing that extra thing is going to get you that much further, and it really isn't. It's about diminishing returns at the end of the day. If you're good at what you do, and your company doesn't treat you like you're good at what you do, and you're actually doing something valuable for the company, and you're not just doing meaningless work, then get out if the company's not treating you the right way. But if they are, then that's a different story entirely, But a lot of these times, you see these companies, and they're always requiring their people to be on 24/7, to jump over hoops, bend over backwards, do all these, various things. And it's like, at the end of the day, you can't let them take advantage of you, because there's no one else that's going to help you other than yourself when it comes to finding your career, when it comes to moving yourself forward in the direction you want to go in life. Now, we'll put a close on that, and let's jump into 2 more things in just a second. Let me grab a sip of my favorite and only soda I ever drink, Diet Dr. Pepper. Very tasty. Side note, I want to talk about Diet Dr. Pepper. Hint, hint, sponsor me. But anyways, Diet Dr. Pepper is actually my favorite soda. It's the only soda I drink. 0 calories, can't beat that. Flavor knocks anything out of the park. It's got caffeine. Your boy needs it. We all know that. But if you ever see me drinking a Diet Dr. Pepper, you know some stuff's going down. See, this is my my oh shit drink. That's what I call it, especially at work. And so whenever I'm having a Diet Dr. Pepper, people know that I'm probably going through a stressful time. Now, I wouldn't say I'm going through a stressful time in a sense that I'm stressed out. I am a little stressed out, but more so in the sense that to piggyback off what I was just talking about, coming back from this work, it's like there's just like stuff that was dumped on me that like no one got done, and that's okay. I'm not going to get it all done, but I'm going to do my best, and you know what? That's fine. And I'm not going to, kill myself to try to like work all the time that I spent relaxing extra just to get that same work done. That defeats the purpose of taking a vacation, right? But basically when I came back, I had these three different decks just dumped on me, and it's like, ugh. And if you guys are listening and you don't understand the terminology, when I say deck, right, it's more of a consulting term. It kind of means PowerPoint. It's real basic. It's nothing crazy. But essentially, it's, for me, right, when I say deck, it's usually something strategic. So generally in my line of work, someone will present me with a strategy and say, hey, I need you to bring this up a level so that people that are executives, when they take a pass at it, they understand it, right? So I take it, I kind of dumb it down, I make sure it's concise and it makes sense, and I look at the strategy, I kind of pick holes in it, and I'll either modify it or I'll send it back and say, this doesn't make any sense, this is not a strategy, or let's work together to kind of build this into something that it needs to be to the next level, so that you can improve the way you're running your department, your organization, whatever it is, So anyways, I got 3 different issues entirely with 3 different folks kind of like asking me for support, like begging me, and I'm like, whatever. So last night, I was up all night putting together one of them. I got about 60% through. I had expected I would be about 75% of the way through, but we can't always get what we want. And so basically I'm just like exhausted. I'm surprised like you don't see any bags under my eyes right now, because I'm actually looking pretty fresh. But besides that point, I am ready to get some sleep. I need to get a workout first though. But yeah, it was a long night. It was a long night, long morning, and I haven't had a break since. Now, to finally get off that side note to Diet Dr. Pepper, talk about 2 final things today. Consistency of uploading. I did promise Monday through Friday videos every day, and I apologize again. I was taking time for myself, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should upload, and then at the end of the day, I was just like, you're on vacation, take that extra day, you'll appreciate it, So I'm back to it, Monday through Friday videos every day, so you should expect one tomorrow and Friday as well. And again, you can always find me on YouTube and all the major podcast platforms. But, continuing, it's like sometimes you miss something that you had planned on doing, and you break that consistency. And consistency is an interesting thing. At least I find this way, that when you are consistently consistent, it's easier to be consistent. That's quite a word jumble. But essentially what I mean by that is, by continuing to do the thing that you committed to doing, it gets easier and easier and easier to do the thing because you're familiar with it. Your body develops a routine and you're ready to do it. And I think there's part of that is in our genetics, biology, makeup, as well as our mindset. So I think it's twofold on that. And it could just be as simple as muscle memory or perhaps neuron patterns. I don't know. I don't think anyone really knows how the neuron patterns work. And look, before you end me for saying this, like, I am not a neurologist. I know nothing about neurology, but from my understanding, the brain is very complicated and it's hard to figure out how it works still to this day. But I'll let someone who's much smarter than me go in if they want to. But essentially it's like breaking that consistency. You find that sometimes it gets harder to do the thing that you committed to doing again, and it's tough. You got to work through it, but getting back into it, that's the even tougher part, because once you break that consistency, and a lot of people do this with diets too, maybe they have a cheat day or something. I think a cheat day is good, and not to get on a diet kick or anything like that, but it's like having the cheat day is good. It refreshes you, but then you have to have the mindset that, okay, this is just kind of like a cheat day. And I wouldn't even say a cheat day because it's not like that. It's more like a break from the norm to get you back into doing the norm, right? It's hard to conceptualize. It really is. And that's like a dieting thing, but more so when it's not a dieting thing. And it's like, consistency of uploading something you like doing. You kind of pull yourself away from that, and it's like, well, I want to go back. I want to upload. I got that feeling that I need to upload something because it makes me happy. I like doing these videos. I like talking to you guys. I like receiving all the feedback I do get. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to reach out to the audiences, and it's like I feel guilty when I don't. That's not a good feeling, but I know that I have to get over that, and so that's why I was like, okay, let's not upload, because you shouldn't upload just because you feel guilty. You should upload because you want to put something out there. You want to say something. You like having a conversation with the world and whoever you're talking to. So highly recommend, if you break the consistency that you're used to, take a second to step back and think like, hey, did I break this consistency because I failed at doing something? And if I did, get right back up. Get back on it if it's a goal you're shooting for, or did I break this consistency purposefully to do something for yourself, or you take a pause in your life to move something else forward, a piece in your life forward, if you will. And that's important, because if you feel guilty that you're pausing things in your life that you enjoy to kind of maybe fix something, in my case it was a vacation, and then just kind of like being busy, kind of bringing everything back, it's important to do that. It's important to take time. It's important to not feel guilty about breaking the consistency if you have the idea that you're going to get back on track at a future time. Okay, boom. We're in the home stretch. We're going to talk about one more thing today, and it's just something that came up lastly, and I was just talking with a few people when I got back, and I apologize if you guys are ever experiencing something like this, but there's a lot of talk in the workplace, not in my workplace, but in general, about folks who have to deal with micromanagers. And I think that is one of the worst things in the entire world. To be a micromanager is essentially to tell your people that I don't have faith in what you're doing, even though I've hired you for a job to do it and get it done. When you're a micromanager, you're telling the world that you don't trust your colleagues, you don't believe they can improve, and you don't see the organization going anywhere better without your help. So that's like a trifecta of not good traits in the workplace. You have the trait of hubris, thinking that you're the only person who can get the job done. You have the trait of not thinking that your colleagues are intelligent enough to prove themselves, and you have the trait of believing that this workplace is not going to ever get better and it's always going to be this way, so we have to be continuously monitoring others like some prison. It's not a good trait. It's so toxic, and so many people have this trait. And what's worse is not the people that have the trait, but the unfortunate part is the folks that have to roll up underneath a micromanager, because they sit there and they analyze and they comb through every single thing you do, and it is so frustrating. I've been there before. I am so blessed to not have that anymore. I absolutely love my team. I have a lot of freedom and flexibility in what I do, which is great. But I've been in situations before when it's like you're under this micromanager, and it's like everything you do is under a microscope, and you get to a point where you could actually be providing more value at sometimes, and a micromanager has that microscope on you, and they're looking so deeply into the stuff that you're doing that they're not even looking at the overall value you're presenting. So you could actually be, doubling the value you're bringing the company, but because they can't lift that microscope up and see that macro view, they're actually missing out exactly on what you're doing, and it sucks. It's just the worst feeling to have that microscope over you, and it does no good. You may save someone from making a minor error here or there, but at the end of the day, most people's stakes aren't really that high anyways. And it's like, as a workplace, we need to come to the terms with the modern way a workplace should work is not to prevent failure, but to fail fast and recover so that it doesn't happen again. Set up policy, procedure, protocols so that once we fail, once we get there, we don't make that same mistake again. And it's like that whole mindset of continuous improvement, continuous learning, it is lost on a micromanager. They don't get it. And I truly, I don't understand why people are like this. I think that everyone has tendencies that way sometimes, but it is a trait that just kind of gets attached to certain people depending upon what they're thinking about at any given time. I've heard from a lot of people that it kind of like just kills their motivation, and it's like, and it makes perfect sense, because it's like, why even try harder? Why try to do something better when at the end of the day, if you try it, you're going to have someone just over your shoulder like a bat, just analyzing you, just kind of, sitting on your shoulder, mentioning like nonsensical things, like a pirate has a parrot, just squawking at them. Ugh, it makes me cringe. I hate micromanagers so much, and I apologize. I do have some friends like that. I love you to death, but I hate the way you act at work. It's just life, we have a modern way of working now, and it's not based on not preventing error. It's not based on not going after risk. In today's environment, in today's economy, in today's way we work, you got to take big risks. You got to put smart people in place, and you got to let them fail if they are trying to make something better. And once they fail, the conversation is not, you suck, you did something wrong. The conversation is, okay, this didn't work. How do we make it better so we don't do that again and other people don't make that same mistake? That's the conversation. Companies that understand that, companies that remove those people that are micromanagers, those are the ones that excel, because that opens up an entire field of value creation from people that never had the ability to do that before, by removing that microscope, by removing that layer of protection that all these companies installed, by having these micromanagers that may not actually be good at their job. They've just been doing it so long that they can't get promoted past a certain level, and they just sit and sit and sit, and they have these like positions of power that were given to them just because they've been at a company so long, but they may not actually have any leadership skills, which is why they're a micromanager, because they actually don't know how to lead, by the way, but that's another conversation. We'll talk about leadership, one of my favorite topics, another time. But the point is, these companies that allow these people to continue holding positions of power, that continue to influence, that continue to have vast teams underneath them, they're going to be bleeding money. They're going to be losing profit. They're not going to be producing the amount of value that they could if they would just pull the microscope back, let people fail, and try to clear the path for them when they need. And that's really what it comes down to. A micromanager is not a leader. A micromanager is a hindrance to the company, is a hindrance to people, and is everything that a company in the 21st century should not be like. It is the antithesis to value and the antithesis to success in the modern workplace. And that's my little rant on micromanagers. If you have a different feeling, please let me know. More than happy to go into it more, and it's something that I've got a lot on. So I felt like maybe hit the tip of the iceberg for now. But we'll keep this a little bit shorter. Again, we got an upload coming tomorrow and Friday. Look out for it. Thanks for listening, everyone. Really enjoyed putting my message out there. Love to hear from you again. Again, this is Brokecast, and you can find me on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. Take care, guys. Happy Wednesday.